Hey, welcome back to Steve Horvath Fishing. Today let's talk about frogs. This one's in pretty sad shape. There's a reason for it. My grandkids have been casting it all over the yard. It's tied on several different times in different spots from them breaking it off. And what else are you going to throw around in the yard that's not going to get snagged? A frog. But what if you want to catch a bass on a frog? Well, to me there are two. Some people would say three different frogs. Some people would say there's a mat frog, which is a heavier frog and tends to have a round body and smush down on the mat, which I really don't do that much of that kind of fishing. So I'm going to talk about two of them. I'm going to talk about your popping frog, which this is not. This is just your regular Spro bronze-eye frog. And the other type of frog, which is your walking frog. Now, let's get the 500-pound gorilla out of the room. I basically use two brands of frogs. Number one, I use the Spro frogs, the popping frog and a regular bronze-eye. The other one that I use is a river to sea bullywah, which tends to have a nice keel on the bottom. Now, that keel makes a difference on what it does. It's a great frog. Most frogs have a couple issues though. They generally come with the hooks, so it's pretty weedless. Hooks are bent in. Well, there's a lot of videos out there to tell you, you could separate the hooks a little bit, bend them up, bend them in, bend them out, do whatever. This video's not about that. Generally, I'll take the frog, I'll tweak the hooks out just a hair with my pliers. I'll reach in, I'll grab the hook, and I'll just tweak it away from the body a hair. So that if I just brush the side of the frog, I'll just about get hooked. Okay? The other problem is some of these frogs are a little hard. A hard frog. Some people say, throw them in a pot of boiling water. Hot water. Get them hot. I got something a little easier. I throw them on the dashboard of the car. Leave them out in the sun for a while. You come back, froggy's all nice and soft. Now, let's get to fishing a frog. Takes a heavy rod. Not to impart action, you could do it with a medium or medium heavy rod, but in a lot of cases you're going to be fishing cover. It's going to dictate that you need to take and winch those fish out. So, medium heavy at the lightest, or, well, a regular frogging rod. Something that's rated as a heavy action. Okay? A little bit of tip is nice, so you can still cast, but generally speaking, you want a pretty stiff rod. Now, I do sometimes fish a frog on monofilament. If there's not a lot of cover, if I'm skipping it under trees and stuff, if I'm fishing it close to me, I'll fish it on 25-pound mono or 20-pound mono. There's no need for braid. But if I'm fishing thick cover, if I'm making long casts, then absolutely braid. What pound test? Hey, that's a great question. I'm going to start at 30 at a very minimum. My preferred pound test for fishing a frog is either 50 or 65 pound test. That's right, 50 or 65. We're going to really lean on these fish. That line is going to be coming through some snot. You don't want it breaking. You will break 50 or 65 every now and then frog fishing. It happens. But that's about it. Oh, colors? What colors do we use? Great. As far as I'm concerned, there's only 3 colors of frogs that are worth buying. Something in a white, which this used to be. Black, universal color. And something with a yellow bottom that'll kind of remind you of a perch or a sunfish. They're the only 3 frogs that I really think you'll ever need. Hey, for Steve Horvath Fishing, I'm Steve.